Yarrick lives! They just will not let the man die. Commissar Yarrick doesn't get to go to the retirement home. But maybe the Steel Legion do. Games Workshop has revealed that there is going to be another return to Armageddon, even though some people never left it. But the biggest concern is that the Steel Legion, the regiment that is famous across the galaxy and is from Armageddon, is not represented on Armageddon. The trailer shows off Cadians and the Death Corps of Krieg, the reason being they have those 3D models from Warhammer Plus animations like the Pariah Nexus. They're not going to show off a new model in a quick trailer. Unless the model already exists, they didn't do a new one. They sort of try and mention the Armageddon Steel Legion without being able to show them off, when they say,
"Some of you were born here, and know only war."
By saying, yeah, okay, some people have come from off-world, showing the Cadians and the Krieg, some of you were born here, and they show a Chimera. That's the representation for the Steel Legion. It's kind of ironic given that the Steel Legion models were first used to make the Death Corps of Krieg in a White Dwarf issue. But then World War II German Ghost Division without the Opel Blitz and without the Panzer III is not as popular as World War I memes. Attack doctrine, trenches, World War I Germans in French helmets with British tank tactics. And they're doing their usual Death Corps of Krieg thing. They're given the order to retreat and immediately go over the top.
There is no victory to be had here. I cannot ask you to die in the mud of a world that was lost long ago.
Always attack, never fall back. We learn a few more things about Armageddon. Apparently, the industry is wrecked.
Cities cloaked in ash and dust. All industry in ruin.
Armageddon used to produce so many weapons that it not only sustained the on-planet war, it also supplied other systems. There were so many people living on Armageddon that regiments were still being sent off-world. But as we now get to the 5th War of Armageddon, I think everyone who was born on Armageddon has died about 12 times over. If you're thinking, hang on, First War of Armageddon, Second War of Armageddon, Third War of Armageddon was Ghazghul, why are we on the 5th one? What was the 4th one? The 4th War of Armageddon was in a Crusade book that came out this edition. It was against Angron. Again, like the 1st War of Armageddon. So the 5th War of Armageddon has to be a remake of the 2nd War of Armageddon. It's in this Crusade book that we're once again seeing the Steel Legion being sidelined. Models are not sold for the Steel Legion. And if Games Workshop was to do another regiment, they would probably redo the Cadians. Those models are nearing 30 years old. But there was some minor appearances in artwork of the Steel Legion. That was their representation. So this would be the 5th War of Armageddon, with more orcs than ever, apparently, because we always have to up the stakes. Every new thing has to be the biggest event to ever happen. Otherwise you get the sequel problem. Why are we telling this story? You picked the original story to tell because that was the most interesting story. But apparently, after War Ghazghul was the biggest war ever for the 3rd War of Armageddon, if Ghazghul isn't leading this, the big lad is not the top war boss in the galaxy and someone else has usurped him. We know your favourite character from the Dawn of War series. You can say the name in the comments if you wish. Ghazghul may not be leading the orcs, but Commissar Yarrick is once again back. I knew as soon as the commander started talking about retreat that a certain commissar, or any commissar, would appear and do their job. But Armageddon seems almost a lost cause if they have no industry, which is the thing they're meant to do. Is this just sunk cost for the Imperium? Better keep fighting forever, rather than, well no, the galaxy is a zero-sum game. There are only so many planets, there are only so many places good for mining, you've gotta have Armageddon, and the orcs also really want Armageddon. So this could be another campaign book before 11th edition, alongside the Orc War Boss that was shown off. They're really rushing through these. The Maelstrom is just out and now there's 2 more known, the Eye of Terror and Armageddon, and they're hyping this next one before the previous one is out? I wonder if they're just panicking to get stuff out that they have rules written for 10th edition before 11th edition comes out. So we'd like to see more from the Imperial Guard. Maybe not everyone would. I like the Steel Legion models and at the very least would like to see them represented in the lore and maybe some videos on Warhammer Plus about how to turn Death Corps Krieg models in 2 Steel Legion models, a kind of reversal of their origin. There could be more art for the Steel Legion, but one thing is for sure, it will not go as hard as the 2nd edition artwork for Commissar Yarrick. That is so cool. I don't think the new model could beat it. And the new model looks a lot like the old model that came out in like 2004. It's perfectly fine. The most interesting thing will be the rules, but not for everyone. Gene Stealer Cult can't use named characters. My own Imperial Guard video on the truly loyal, the Brood Brothers, was interrupted by this trailer. So if you want to see how they work in depth on the tabletop, I explain how they can win. Have a great day of 40k.